So since your upper back is all jacked up because of the computer, we'll address that first. All right?
Okay.
So a couple of things. What I'm going to show you first is going to start with the more easier of the motions. Right, so you see how my knees are open, I'm more comfortable sitting here, right?
Okay.
All I'm going to do is take my hands out forward. So you see how my hands are? I'm just going to go out forward.
Okay.
And this is basically called the prayer stretch. So when I go out with my hands forward, you're going to notice with the side profile that I'm loosening up this area and then the shoulder joint. And the idea is to really get those arms really far forward and then just do this.
Okay.
Right? So while you do that, in the future, if you've got a foam roller, then maybe what we can do for you is actually roll that foam roller out and then roll it back in. And I would like you to order a foam roller. Just get it delivered to you. Okay?
Okay.
Because obviously you're going to be working behind a computer, so I need you to be able to do this. But for now, do the body weight version of it.
Okay.
Okay? I want you to stay there for about 60 seconds. Now, while you do that, I'm just going to let you know that what you're going to experience is your ability to move your arm up and down from that shoulder joint. You see this?
Okay.
I want you to be able to tell me in 60 to 90 seconds if this movement is easier. Go back into it.
Okay.
And let me know about that. Good. And as you do that, continue moving your chest down lower. Perfect. Okay, so stay there. And you got about 45 seconds left. Fifteen seconds. Ooh. And rest. Okay, so the real test really is, and it might still be too early to test, but we'll test it anyway. See how you're a little bit more mobile? You're gliding in that shoulder joint.
Yeah.
You see how smooth that is?
Yeah.
Right? So if you do a few of these, which I'm about to tell you, you'll probably notice that your push-up, your strength training gets better. Now watch this. Number 2, right? One hand goes here. I'm still sitting comfortable like this. Now watch the other arm. What that's doing is stretching out your posterior deltoid, which is the back of the shoulder. I'm just going to lounge out here, so maybe about 60 seconds. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
There. Now, while you stay there, just remember the entire purpose of this routine this morning is to actually unjack a little bit of your upper back.
Okay.
Yes, that looks good. Yeah, just keep in mind your hips are squaring off to me. You don't need to turn your hips. You're fine now, but just keep that in mind. Twenty more seconds for you. 10 seconds. And time. How did that feel on the posterior chain, the back of the shoulder and this area?
No, actually, definitely that. I definitely felt it opening up a little bit.
Okay.
Actually.
You ready to do the other side, yeah?
Yeah.
So here, so one hand is here, and then reach. Ooh. Whew. So obviously you'll notice one side is tighter than the other.
Right.
45 seconds. And time. Okay.
Okay.
So that's both arms, right? Both sides of the shoulder joint. So another thing I want you to do now is I want you to do something called a mobility exercise for your chest and your upper back. So for instance, what this looks like is I'm going to take my hands and I'm not clasping them, but I'm just putting them here. Now watch this.
Okay.
One, squeeze. But if you notice, I'm actually bringing the shoulder blades, particularly the lower end of it.
Yeah.
So right, contract, release. So it's really this lower end that I'm focusing on the squeezing. Right, because I don't want to squeeze the upper guy, because that bothers you. So watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll do 15 of those for you. But what you're going to notice is that those muscles, when they're activated, they hold you up a little bit straighter versus doing what we call sitting behind the computer movement. So give me 15 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And tell me how that felt.
You know, I definitely felt that in my back, you know, like in my shoulder blades. I will say, I noticed like these muscles, you know, my
the
delts, I
upper
guess.
traps, yeah.
We're definitely trying to get involved. I mean, I had to really focus on not involving them.
How dare they get involved without your permission?
they just sort of naturally get brought in. So,
They,
so I had to really concentrate on not, tucking my chin into my chest.
exactly. I think they forgot just for a microsecond who the boss is, but you reminded them. Okay.
So, I don't know if I was 100% successful, but that I definitely felt in my shoulders, front and back. I mean, in a good way. Like, I feel like I...
Good. Okay, so one more, actually, two more important things. Okay. The problem with sitting behind a computer, we don't realize, or the problem with being on our phones at all times, we don't realize that we're doing something called the HD movement, which is the head down. You see, so even if my phone is here, my neck is now being trained for hours a day, or behind a computer, hours a day, to be in a kyphotic position or a hyperflexion position. And I never ever train it to be on the extension position, which is the muscles on the back. So what do we do about that problem, really? That's the thing, right?
Well, for me, it's because the thing is, when I'm not at the computer or on my phone, I'm usually reading a book. I mean, and that's been the case my whole life, and that is also, a head down.
Yeah, exactly. So just remember, head down means HD, okay?
Right.
So now HD needs to be reversed, right?
Okay.
Like why do you train your glutes? Because your hip flexors are always tight sitting behind the desk. You gotta open that up. So you need an opposite.
Right.
You need an antidote for the neck. So here's what I do. Now it's not gonna feel perfect on day one, nor is it gonna feel smooth. So just expect that. It's part of the process. But I do need you to understand this motion. Okay? Watch
Yeah.
this. Clasp. This one's a clasp.
Okay.
Okay?
Actually, I'm sorry, your head is sort of cut off the way the computer screen is angled, so
Okay.
I can't see what you're doing.
Hold on
I'm
now.
using your hand going out of frame. Yeah.
Good? Okay.
Okay,
Watch
yes.
this. This is called flexion of the neck, right?
Okay.
We've already established that.
Right.
Okay? Now watch the extension. Extension, extension, extension. All I'm doing is reversing the motion of what we do behind a computer, which is this, or on a phone, and just using a little bit of resistance training, just a little bit of resistance training for my hands, and doing this. One. And the hands, the placement of the hands is on the top of the head, not on the back. It's here, because if you notice, it's this motion that's going to strengthen the weak muscles on the behind your neck. And you got to go a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical, because it's your first time doing it.
Okay.
Okay? Let me see a good 10 reps. Yeah. And then I've got one more thing after that for you. And if you can't do it, I'm going to find you a modification.
Okay. Oh, I guess never use these muscles.
We never use the back of the. I mean, the only time I trained the back of my neck was when I was on the high school wrestling team. That was ages ago, and since then I'm like, even in my fitness coaching, day to day, it's very few people that I have to bring this to their attention. If they vocalize a problem to me, really. Okay,
those muscles were certainly protesting.
That's all right. It's a free country. We're allowed to protest.
Right. Fair enough.
All right. So let's do a test. So here's the question: can we again compare on how our overhead movement feels? So if I was lifting a weight, I feel better actually. As long as it's not too heavy where it would reactivate the neck region, I feel better, right? If I were to do a push-up, which I don't want you to do yet, but I'm just giving you the context so you can memorize the stuff, right? So it feels a little bit smoother in the pathways of the joint.
Right.
So what you want to do next is do one more thing with me, and I'll tell you if you're ready for it or not. Here's the other thing. For me, to do this motion, it basically just puts in alignment of my joint, the shoulder joint, and my spine straight, okay? Now watch this. And now, see the mobility of the joint?
Yeah.
See that?
Yes.
No pain, no issues. See?
Yeah.
Try that and let me know how that feels.